this one. This ain't the one you just had a while ago. Well, now that you up, just lead us in prayer, Pastor O. Of course we may. Good evening. How y'all feel? I feel better. Amen. Let's talk about it. Y'all ready to talk about it? So, first thing I want to do is clear up something. So, last week, we were talking about, I kept using the word mental health, right? Well, actually, we're not really talking about mental health as much as we're talking about mental illness. I want to clear that up, right? Mental illness. Because our struggle is with mental illness. Mental health becomes a byproduct of our mental illness, right? So I wanted to make sure I cleared that up because somebody checked me on that the other day. And I want to make sure I'm accurate this week. Amen? So we're going to talk about some stuff. Y'all ready? So remember, this chair been squeaking for years. See, yeah, my daddy chair ain't going nowhere. Okay, so here we go. So last week, not just last week, just in general, I want to make sure that everybody knows that we're talking about mental health, mental illness, from the aspect of the black community and the black church, right? The reason that's important is because I believe that the black community and the black church is responsible for mental illness as we become adults. The problem becomes, in some instances, we're so used to it that we made it normal, right? I'll give you an example. And people think I'm joking, but I'm really not. I am anti-Easter poems, right? Because when I was growing up, that was some of the most frightening stuff I've ever done in church, right? So I always tell them, if they don't want to do it, don't make them do it. Because how many of you grew up where you had somebody, one of the young people, doing an Easter poem, and then they're up there crying and snotting, and then your mama got to come read it for you. You know why the mama got to read it? Because they don't want to read it, right? Or they don't like being in front of people. Because if you're an adult and you don't like to be in front of a crowd, you were a child that don't like to be in front of a crowd. Or that's the reason why you don't want to be in front of a crowd, right? Because of that. Now, I'm not saying Easter poems is the sole cause of mental illness in the black community. But I think, but it's trauma. People don't look at it, you know. So I want to highlight the black community and the black church, right? Now, here it is. Let's start here. I didn't know what the word in the context of mental health really meant, the word stigma, right? And so the other day when I couldn't sleep, I looked up the word stigma to see what it really meant, right? I mean, I got T-shirts with the word stigma on it. Don't know what it means, right? I want to read something to you. Stigma still runs deep, right? Mental health issues are sometimes viewed as weakness, lack of faith, or something to just pray away. The stigma can delay people from seeking help, especially among men and older generations. silence becomes a barrier of healing. Now, how many of us have ever dealt with something that we just don't ever want to talk about? Right? I don't like talking about stuff that hurts me because I don't want to relive it. Right? And oftentimes, we've gotten to this pattern of just sweeping everything under the rug. Right? And to be honest with you, we sweep it under the rug, and then we'll show up to church on Sunday and come shout it all the way. Right? Hold on, I'll let everybody get through. I only say that y'all don't know it, but when y'all be moving, they just be looking at y'all move, so. Who's back there with them, Jayla? Okay. Okay, perfect. What's the last thing I said? Shout it all the way, right? How many of us, that's why I say sometimes when you see people shouting in church, it's really not spiritual. Sometimes it's just emotional, right? And that's okay. The church should be a safe place for emotional release, right? But don't I just told them about this. You can't spiritualize everything, right? Because sometimes, especially when we were growing up, and this is old school church, some of our ladies, they've been shouted, and then the song over, and you still on the ground, trying to figure out how you're supposed to get up out of this now. Hoping that somebody come hug you or pick you up, or now you just laying down there, right? Just get up, right? And so my thing is, sometimes we use the church as a place just for emotional release, right? And sometimes one thing that we don't talk about in the church, and I don't know that I don't think it has nothing to do with the old church or nothing like that. I think it has everything to do with the church. How we will focus on a person's giving and not care about where they are mentally. Because if you're not careful, and I want y'all to hear me on this kind of is a run over on our conversation we just had in the back. If you're not careful, you will spiritually become part of a cult. Whenever people, watch this, dictate to you how you should be in church, you're part of a cult. I told somebody the other day, I said, people that go to church are not property. They don't belong to me. They're not property. I don't own them. That's slave mentality, right? But when you are part of a cult, they will teach you and train you to show allegiance to your leader and not to your God. Right? And so much, I want y'all to hear me on this. So much mental trauma has come out of protecting spiritual leaders. So much trauma has come from protecting spiritual leaders in one way or the other. Do y'all remember a few months ago when the young girl got pregnant? I want y'all to look at that. He brought y'all remember when I said cult, right? He didn't bring the girl up, her mama did. Her mama brought her up in front of the church and announced to the church that her daughter was pregnant. Right? Everybody mad with the pastor. I'm mad with the daughter, with the mama. Right? Because watch this. Here it is. She only did that because that's how she was spiritually trained to do. And then the pastor get up and say, y'all better not be having no baby shower for her and better not buy her nothing or whatever. And the only thing I kept asking myself, Tony, is, who the daddy? Because I guarantee you, the daddy was probably some preacher or deacon's son, if not a preacher or a deacon. Now, take that scenario, because I want to open your eyes to some stuff. Take that scenario and then ask yourself, how is that girl mentally right now? Right? How does she mentally feel when she get pregnant the next time? Let's say she married. What's the first thing she gonna think about? And now we come into the season where our young people are rebelling against the church. See, we didn't say nothing. They will. Right? And so I remember talking to one of our young nation members. And I want y'all to hear this. They felt abused and taken advantage of where they used to go. Right? Because when you're in a certain type of structure and organization, it's always about, what have you done for me lately? I will abuse your gift to make me look good. That's why you have to be careful that you're not, number one, in a cultist type of, right? And it's not okay to hide hurt. It's not okay to hide hurt. Right? And so that's why I pray that we become a church to where we're open, transparent. That's why sedity people irritate me. Because if you're sedity and without fault, you can't never help nobody. Period. Because I used to say, if anybody knew me from a long time ago, I used to say, I hate weed. I don't hate weed. I hate the smell of weed. I just think it's disrespectful. I don't like the smell of it. But just because you smoking a joint, how can I talk about you, right? But no, I got a deacon who's a hoe. You see what I'm saying? And then, watch this. I want y'all to hear me, right? I don't want y'all to act like, listen to me, y'all. I don't want y'all to act like this stuff ain't really happening, because there's a lot of people who are mentally tore up right now because of some hurt that they experienced in the church. Right? And then we take people, we hurt people, we abuse people, right? And then once we've been covered and out of danger, we just let them go. Where do they go? They just go hurt. They go broken. They leave and just turn away from God altogether. Which is why it's so hard getting young people in the church, right? Because I don't care what you say. If you invite somebody to church, the only church they're going to think about is the last church they was at. Period, point blank. It's going to be all churches, right? If you invite somebody to church, they'll never be like, okay, well, maybe I get this EBC experience. No. They're going to think of some backcountry missionary hot water Baptist church. Right? And they're going to think about their experiences in the church. So that's why I say in ministry, y'all, we got to be deeper than just a shouting church. We got to be deeper than a praise dance church. We got to be deeper than a praise team church. We got to be deeper than ministry. Where's my hat? You finna die, son. I'm sorry. Yeah. Y'all remember the last time a bee got in here? Yeah, it's a bee. Oh, that means there's two of them. No, that's a bee. Andy, where you at? Boy, man, if a Negro ran up on me, Andy be right there. Let a bee come. Well, I can't walk over there. Yeah, that's what. I only wear them when I'm not killing animals with them. Are you too short? Okay. Don't worry about it. He'll die. Let me have it. He's going to make a mistake. I'm sure we're the only church in America trying to kill a bee at Bible study. So, here's a question for me, for you. Here's a question for us. Y'all ready? And let's deal from a transparent place. Okay? Who's that? Aubrey. It ain't about you, baby. I know. I already know. You just scary. I know. Come on up here with Daddy if you want to. Don't worry about it. Our servant leaders here. He'll get them later. How many of us? We're gonna walk backwards. Y'all ready? Who was at church Sunday? Raise your hand. How many of you came to church last Sunday with trauma? Seriously. How many of us have been carrying that same trauma for over a year? Here's what you got to ask yourself. What has the church done for you? Huh? Say it loud. How can you, I got an interesting question. Y'all ready for this? I like talking about what they want to talk about. How can you be whole spiritually if you're not whole mentally? How? Dalen, if you're carrying trauma, how can God get the best out of you? And until you deal with it, right, you will always be the spirit of Anita Baker, giving you the best that I got, not all that I got. Right? But just the best that I got. And don't think, now God worship, he honors that. Right? I'm going to get him. Y'all, watch. Y'all going to think I'm the pastor of the year. Sunday, if I get him, Sunday when I walk in, y'all better stand up and clap when I walk up in here. I'm going to get him. But why is that? I want the church, I don't care what no other church do. I want our church, right, to be an avenue for mental health, mental illness relief. I tell people all the time, whatever, son, you don't even know. Huh? You don't see him? Then there's two of them. Go, Tia. Come on. Come on, Tia. Do it like you're in the country. Dang it. You almost had him, girl. Where's the spray at? Where's it at? No, we don't have none. We're in here just like really out here trying to catch a bee right now. So, give me the thing. It come up here. This is where the lights are. Hi, y'all. Come on in. So, y'all ready to go deeper? I'm not talking about your trauma. Let's just talk about some traumas, right? Right? As Christians, how would they get through? Darling, hold on. I'm going to send you Skylar's phone number. You missed it, didn't you? She looked at him, I'm like, what are you talking about? No, for real. Let's deal with some traumas. Y'all ready? Ready? Not you personally, right? But what are some traumas that y'all think that Christians carry with them to church? Some mental issues, some struggles, some illnesses. Let's be real. Go, Andy.
Not being seen or being used properly.
Not being seen or being used properly. Okay, who else? David? Identity crisis. Now, I know what you mean, but no, you already did yours, Andy. Just explain what you mean, Dalen. Talk loud. There you go, right? Who else? Right. And that's the lie we got to stop believing. That ain't nothing but the enemy trying to attack you. Right? Because let me tell you something. Y'all ready for this? I'll say what they... You ready for this? It doesn't matter how many times you come up here and pray on Sunday. You leaving here with that same trauma. Right? Right? I don't know who made preacher Superman. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, Out of 100 pastors, 98 shouldn't be giving no kind of counseling to nobody. Because we're not counselors. Heck, I need a counseling. Right? And so, if I'm not experienced in your area of hurt, what am I going to tell you? Because I'm real practical. That's why I ask my wife, when I go to visit somebody in the hospital, right, where they got a broken leg or they're about to be out of here, what you want me to pray for? Like, what do you want me to pray for? If the doctor put them on hospice, what do you want me to say? Right? Because some people get false hope. The last time I was in the hospital, they said, well, she looking better than she was last. No, she not, baby. She looked the same way she looked yesterday. Yeah, right? But here it is. The myth of it all. The myth of it all is no matter your problem, God will solve it. And the reality is God can, but it doesn't mean always that God will, right? And so you got to be careful because I probably was this was probably in 2000. Oh, if I would have had my hat. Jesus. I'm going to get them to watch. And I'm telling y'all, Sunday, y'all better stand up. I want pom-poms and everything. But in 2012, right, I had a mother and a child. A mother and child come to me. I want y'all to hear me, right? I want y'all to hear me. A mother and a child came to me. And the mother's concern was that the daughter was sleeping around. Right? I want y'all to hear me on this. And so I asked the mom privately, has something ever happened to her when she was younger? You know what she said? Yeah, but. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but. Right? And I'll never, at this time in my pastorate, it was the deepest thing I've ever said, right? And I told the mother, you're blaming her for sleeping around, but what you don't understand is she's using the same thing that hurt her to bring her joy. But we don't want to talk about that. You see what I'm saying? And there should never be a place, especially if you're surrounded, I want y'all to hear me, if you're surrounded by a body of believers, there should never be a time that you feel unsafe opening up to some, because let me tell you something. I can't help you in a lot of areas, but I can get you help in a lot of areas, right? Our problem is we've been carrying it so long, we don't think we need help. You're wondering, you're thinking that's just who you are. No, that's who somebody created you to be. You fell for it, you bought it, so now you believe that that's just the way you are. Baby, that is not your name. That's not your name. And that's not who God called you to be. Right? You think that the calling on your life is to sleep around from bed to bed to bed. You believe the calling upon your life is to get high every time you get $20. You think the calling on your life is to steal, rob, and all of that. No. Watch this. It may not be your calling, but it will be part of your journey. You see what I'm saying? That's why I am unapologetic. Baby, don't talk about me. Come talk to me. Shoot, I would tell you the truth that will blow your mind. Why? Because it's part of my story. You can't hide from it, right? If you used to be this, it's part of your story. If you used to do, but our problem is, now I'm just talking to myself, right? Our problem is that we will allow our story to feed into and to drive our self-esteem. Right? That's okay, because he got to come back this way again. You know, the Bible said Jesus went into town, came back out a second time. That's the right way. So watch this. Here it is. How many of us ever suffered from low self-esteem? I used to be bad. Wait, see? Part of my story. Testimony. I told you I grew up knock-kneed and pigeon-toed. Now, I ain't knock-kneed no more. I wish I had some help up in here. Yeah, Dr. Schramm made sure. Yeah, see, you got to go see a doctor, right? So watch this. I was not needed. I was, see, scholars, God wants you here. Scholar looks like, I got you. I'm just looking at you, girl. So watch this. Not needed, right? Pigeon-toed, skinny, and y'all should have seen me when I used to wear boots, right? So it's funny now, but nobody knows that was trauma for me. Everybody would wear boots, right? And they were rustlers back then, right? And at the bottom, they wrinkled down, they gathered at the bottom, and their jeans look good on them, right? And mine, I used to have big old boot thing, the top of the boot, right? Made me look crazy as heck. It's one thing to be not needed, one thing to be pigeon-toed. Now all we see is your boots, right? And you know what I did? I started allowing that kind of stuff to feed into my self-esteem, right? And then I started hooping. We go to UT, go to Gibbons, go to Rosewood, everywhere we go. Well, I stopped going to Rosewood because I broke my ankle over there. But what happened was, watch this, Dalen. I began to see something in me other than what other people saw in me, right? Where's the trick that I fell for? Dalen, I started believing what they said about me until I found something valuable inside of me that I can believe in myself, right? And until then, shoot. When I started believing in me, baby, that's a whole nother level of confidence, right? Because before, I'd be hooping, I'd make the shot, I'd just be worshiping God that I made it, right? Then, scholar, I started hooping, I'd be like, bam, got him, right? I'm talking noise. I drive to the back, you know what I say, excuse me, right? Because I developed this confidence. What does that mean? That means we have to get to a place that we find something inside of us that's greater than what we've been taught, what we've heard, what we believe. Because watch this, God did not define you, create you, right, to be what somebody else told you are. And so you got to stop walking around, because if you're not careful, what you feel about yourself will go down to your kids. Here it is. You won't expect nothing out of them because you ain't expect nothing out of yourself. Right? Sooner or later, y'all, we got to unhandcuff ourselves. Right? Oh, you. Ooh. Were y'all worried I was gonna fall? No, baby. This my daddy's chair. It go this way. It's like a roller coaster. Huh? The table? See, y'all, look. Y'all see how serious Lady D got? Y'all like, yeah. She said, the table almost fell on you. That's what I'm talking about, baby. High five. High five. No, high five. I told y'all, Lady D ain't Lady D like y'all think. So watch this. Sooner or later, you got to unhandcuff yourself, right? And unhandcuffing yourself means this. You got to give yourself the freedom and the permission to deal with you. You got to give yourself permission to deal with you. If you struggle with certain areas of your life, deal with it. Do you know how hard it is? I learned, I told y'all before, I learned it when my sister passed, right? I learned back then how to unhandcuff, right? I didn't learn it till my father passed, and then when I started going to counseling, is when I realized I haven't grieved yet. I haven't cried. Let me tell you what grieving is not. Grieving is not being strong, then get by yourself, and then just lose your mind. That's not grieving. That's having anxiety, right? I learned how to grieve. What does that mean? I learned how to accept the fact, and this is nothing spiritual, right? I learned how to accept the fact that she's dead. Now, here's what my therapist taught me. He's taught me to stop using cute words. Oh, she's going on to glory. Yeah, stuff like that. She's in the battle. No, she's dead. Own that. She's dead. You're not going to see her again. She's dead, right? At the time, it felt so hurtful. right? But you know what I did? The next time I went to her gravesite, because if you're not careful, you'll go to a gravesite with some hope and don't even realize it, right? Here's what he told me that hurt my feelings. Y'all ready? He told me, go to your sister's gravesite and say everything you want to say, right? But just know that when you're done, she can't hear you. Then you'll discover the healing is not with her, the healing is with you. It's not that she needs to hear it, you just need to say it, right? And then after that point, I was like, okay, cool. I'm dealing with it. Right? But child of God, you got to understand that you got to get yourself to a place that you're able to deal with stuff, pain, trauma, stuff that's hurt you. Because some of us are young, and we've had trauma on top of trauma. And some of us are stuck in a place because we don't want to deal with our trauma. You know why we don't want to deal with it? Because it feels better not to. Who wants to deal with something that hurt them? But my question becomes this. How long are we willing to carry it? Because if you're not careful, it will begin to destroy you from the inside out. Then next thing you know, your whole demeanor will change. Now you're mean, you're angry, you wake up mad for no reason, right? You're not mad because you woke up, you're mad because you had to wake up, right? You're not happy that you, oh yeah, I'm going to get him. Y'all wait. I'm dealing with some trauma right now, Dwayne Sean. Here we go. Here it is. What else is a common trauma that we deal with in this year, 2026? Let's share. What's a common trauma that we deal with? But financial trauma. Yeah. Financial trauma. What else? Huh? What does that mean, expand? Dang, girl. That was heavy. You making me sweat. Jesus. But that is, right? Let's go deeper, right? What is a trauma that we deal with that nobody likes to talk about? Abuse. Shame. Who said shame? You said shame? What do you mean by shame? Who said something before that? What'd you say? Abuse. Let's start in the middle. How many of you have family that made you feel like you ain't worthy of nothing? Now, that's a real thing. But 9 times out of 10, have you ever noticed which family that is, though? It's normally all the ones that are bitter, overweight, broke, ain't got nothing, right? And so also, watch this. Here it is. Some people, I want y'all to hear me. Just because they related to you don't mean they love you. And you have people that are related to you that are cheering on your downfall. Right? That's why you got to start believing that you know who you are in God. You know what God created. You know what I'm saying? Because watch this. That's when they always do that whole, oh, they just playing with God. No, I ain't playing with God. You playing with God, right? Because sometimes I have to make myself believe. She said something that was so deep. Somebody say unworthy. One thing that is dangerous, that is mentally and spiritually dangerous, is when you see yourself unworthy, but God sees you as worthy. Now, Jayla, you just doing too much. That'd be way up there. You talking about? She like all up on the chair. But how many of us have ever felt unworthy? Right? Raise your hand if you ever felt unworthy. Now consider the standard. Unworthy of what? By who? To whose standards? Right? Because I used to, y'all, when I you want to know what unworthy feel like? When I moved to Austin, y'all, I was preaching at everybody church. Right? You mess up, then nobody wants you preaching at their church no more. Right? And then I discovered, well, heck, my people like my preaching pretty good. Then I started thinking, well, why I got to preach at your church when I got my own church to preach at? Right? Now, then I started thinking, I'm unworthy according to who? So you're only trying to make me feel unworthy because you don't think you're at my level. I tell one preacher, why are you jealous of me when you got more than I have? Right? Let this be a lesson to you. I told Mill this about a month ago. Some people, it ain't about you. It's about the call that God got on your life that they don't like. But can you imagine living your life every day feeling beneath and under? How do you handle that? How do you just live just feeling, whether it's by a spouse, whether it's by a job, whether it's by a family? Has anybody ever felt that somebody makes them feel unworthy? Do you know the worst thing that can happen to the person that makes you feel unworthy is when you start believing in yourself? Right? I was with Charles Mont Toyota. I was at Charles Mont Toyota. And there was a guy, they hired him. He was a finance guy from Dallas. They got him all the way from Dallas to come down here to work, be the finance director, right? But every time somebody had credit, a customer with somebody for bad credit, they bring it to me, right? So I get them bought, and he get mad. So one day, y'all, we had a big old blowout because he went in my office when I wasn't in there and going through my drawers. We had a big old blowout, right? And so finally they called us to the owner's office. The owner and the GM was the same person, right? And you know the owner told him? He said, it seems like you have a hard time working with Eric. He said, no, I don't have no hard. Well, okay, I just want to make sure. Because if anybody has to go, he's not going anywhere. You could have bought that man for a dime. Made him feel small, right? It wasn't, Selim, that I was getting a deal bought. It was because he tried to make me feel that he was so much better than me. That the people that knew understood my value. Right? Baby, let me tell you something. I used to wear a dress shirt, slacks, and a tie to work. After that day, I came in there suited and booted every day. I had on a whole suit, right? Somebody say confidence. You'll never know who you can become when your confidence get what God wanted to be. Because watch this, child of God. Sometimes the only person holding you down is you. Right? It ain't that they holding you down. It's not that they're trying to belittle you. It's not that they're trying to make you feel unworthy. It's that you believe it. Right? It's that you believe it. Right? That's why I post as much as I do. Child, I posted all day Sunday. Sunday night, I'm posting everything. It was a purple party. Yeah. You know why? Because I know that to some people, my virtual presence irritates them. And when you, no, watch this, it's good for you, right? Because you had the option not to hate me. You had the option not to put me down. You had the option not to gossip about me. You had the option not to talk about me, right? But now you see it got a reverse effect on you. It didn't bother me, but now every time you see, here they go, this girl all off on the stage in uniform, and they over there singing, and who that praise team? I thought that was there. I didn't know he played over there. Yeah. You messed up. Yeah. You should have had me when I was depressed. You should have had me when I was down. You should have had me when I didn't believe in myself. You should have had me when I was about to quit. You should have had me when I had no hope. But baby, let me tell you something. You missed the boat. That train already gone. We are where we are, and every time you look at me, you're going to be irritated even more. Somebody say confidence. You got to believe in you, boo. Stop waiting on somebody to believe in you. Believe in you, right? And so one thing I had to learn, somebody say go deeper. Just because we suffer from depression or whatever, y'all, because I suffer from depression for real, right? It would be clinical depression, but I don't take that medicine. I don't like something else making me feel some kind of way, right? Because if I took that medicine, I come up here, if y'all see me irritated on a Sunday, ain't no telling what's going to happen. Ain't no telling what I'm about to preach, because that medicine make you feel a little different, right? So it's not clinical depression because I won't take the medicine, right? But y'all, I was depressed. Can I help y'all? Here's the problem I made. The problem I made, Angie, is I wanted everybody to pay the price for my mental illness.
Come on. Break it down. Yes, sir.
Everybody was supposed to cuddle me. Everybody was supposed to understand. Oh, he suffered from a mental illness. Oh, he's special. No, you're just irritating. You know why? Because I'm blessed. I'm blessed, right? I'm blessed enough to have somebody that tried to get it, right? As a matter of fact, I'll be honest with y'all. I'm being straight up honest with y'all. There's parts of me that I didn't understand about me till I met my wife. And she wasn't even my wife then. She was just a customer, right? But to have somebody who you connect with that's able to tell you the truth about your life and how they see you, right? You know what I became? I became the victim. Yeah. I was the victim. No. Let me tell you who told me. My mother told me. She told me without telling me, right? I got two of the sweetest women in my life, so y'all think, right? Let me tell y'all something. Can Pastor say it like he feel it? Make either one of them mad. You're going to see a whole So let me tell you what I did, Dwayne Sean. I'll never forget it. I'm in my room, seldom. I'm depressed. You should feel sorry for me. Check on me every day. Right? Because I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to kill myself. To the point, I'm a grown man. Get my mama coming in, looking in my room, peeking to see if I'm dead or alive. Right? Somebody say the victim. The victim requires attention. Right? Do you know what happens when you don't get the attention you require? Baby, let me tell you what Edna did. I had a whole bag of medication. I don't even know whose name was on it. Right? Because I'm going to do it this time, Stella. Shoot. I didn't want to die. I wanted somebody to grieve with me. Right? And I knew my mama loved her child. So I'm going to take these, got my bottles, I'm ready. Right? And she pleading with me. No, mama, I didn't. Don't take them there, die there, kill yourself. Yeah. Come on, Taylor. Don't be trying to get my Sunday spotlight. She told me, go on, take them. Take all of them. That's why I tell people all the time, ever since that day, don't call me, tell my pastor, I'm trying to kill myself. How you going to do it, baby? Come on, let me walk you through it. Because if you're just looking for attention, right, I'm going to give it to you. If you just want attention, I'm going to give it to you because that's nothing to play with. Because when I lived in San Antonio, well, actually when I lived in Austin, I tried to kill myself for real, and I felt myself dying. I felt my whole body tingling. That's why I say that ain't nothing to play with. So I think my wife said the other day, right? Everybody got this was awareness month. No, suicide. Matter of fact, I tell people I'm a suicide survivor. Because here it is, nobody knows where you were before you was at that dark place. But if that's where you are, deal with it and stop making yourself a victim to everybody got to bow down to you. And then stop bringing your mental health to people if you ain't going to listen to the help they're trying to get you. Because if you call me, I'm going to say, here, this is Dave. Call him. He's good. Do you come to me again? Did you call Dave? No. What you talking to me for? You don't want help. You want attention. Right? Because mental illness is real. Because, okay, I'm not going to, I've almost asked a bad question. If you ever tried to commit suicide, if you ever thought about suicide, what most people don't understand is how much sense that makes in that moment. That is your easiest path out. Got you up here planning where you going to do it. What time you going to do it? Make sure ain't nobody at home. Right? But what people don't understand is the dark place that you're at when you make that decision. Right? Because to them, that's the stupidest thing in the world. And to you, it makes all the sense in the world. Because everything that is attacking you mentally is going to end. Every problem you have is going to end. Every bullying is going to end. All the suffering is going to end. All the anger is going to end. All the pain is going to end. Right? And that's all you think about. That it's going to all be over just like that. Bam. Right? But beloved, here's my suggestion to you. Never allow yourself to get to that place. Get some help before you get there. You know why? Because you know you're there. You know you're there. Right? Somebody say real talk. If you ever like that, call me. Because I'm not going to be one of those pastors, right, that can see you struggling mentally. And all I care about, you need to be on that praise team Sunday. Because what they don't know is sometimes that's the kind of stuff that makes it worse. And then your mind starts playing tricks on you. I was so mad one day, y'all. I'm serious. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on my balcony just crying, boo-hooing by myself. And I blamed everybody else for my tears. You know what I said? They don't even know I'm crying. You see what I just did? I just made myself a victim. Then I had to make a decision. Am I going to be a victim? Or am I going to hold myself accountable? Because you know what I've learned? People that don't get help sometimes don't want no help. They want the attention. Right? And that's why you got to be careful. That's why you got to be careful sometimes. Somebody say TikTok. You know they got all these pranksters on TikTok? They be walking to the mall and irritating people. Right? Well, one guy did that to a DoorDash. Let me tell my story, because you got misinformation. But listen, one guy went to irritating and messing with a DoorDash driver. And you can tell that DoorDash driver, he wasn't all the way, you know what I'm saying? So you know what he did? Shot him. Right there. In front of the pretzel place. He told him, get back. He didn't get back, he shot him. Right? No conviction, he didn't die. Right? You never know the place that somebody is. Right? And beloved, let me tell you something, speaking from experience, right? It's dangerous to walk around and try to coexist with a bad place. Because that'll become the very DNA of who you are. Y'all, I wouldn't even look for nothing joyous. I wouldn't look for happiness. Watch this. I didn't expect nothing good to happen to me. Do you know how dangerous that is? And then you bleed all that over on the people that do love you. Right? Let's go deeper. Let's talk about what they don't want to talk about. Do you know how hard it is for me to love you and help you, but you refusing my love and my help? It's not that I can't deal with you. It's that you won't let me deal with you. You won't let me help you. Every time you call, they already know, oh, here she go again. Right? And now your trauma is taking somebody into their trauma. You got to be accountable for who you are, and you can't blame everybody. Nika posted something the other day, basically saying, just because I understand your trauma don't mean I got to deal with your crap. Yeah, I know you're struggling. Yeah, I know you got issues. But that don't mean I open myself up for an application for you to come live with me mentally. I don't want it. Because watch this. Watch this. I wrote this down. Sometimes your trauma becomes trauma on somebody else. Show me a man that'll hit a woman. I bet he done spent his whole life getting whooped. Or watching it. I'm a TikTok fan, y'all. I love it. I see it when the police pull up. He cussed and got a white beat on. Soon they put them handcuffs on. He turned to a little boy. Right? That is some form of trauma himself. Right? But when you go to the zoo, the sign says, don't feed the animal. Why are you feeding that guy? Why are you dealing with that? Oh, I love him till death do you part. Ain't that much love in the world, right? Here it is. When you love them, that you're willing to take that beating from them, that means you value their love for you more than your love for them more than your love for your own self. Shoot. You want to be bad? You want to stop it? I'm a man. I tell you how to stop it. Go to academy, get a gun. Right? Y'all ain't got to be fighting. I know Negroes. He in that kitchen talking noise, right? You ain't got to come out your room. You ain't got to say nothing. Just go in that closet there. Yeah. You ain't got to say a word. Right? No, they want to be bad. Yeah, and tell them your pastor said it too. You ain't got to fight with them. Go to academy. It's going to take you about 15 minutes. You got to go to the iPad, all that. That's fine. And watch that. You can get a cheap gun too. And he in there talking about what he about to do to you. Okay, let's go. Mama, what you cook? See? That's how you going to react. He going to get up out of there. Right? Because here it is. Here it is. If I didn't create your trauma, why should I pay for it? Why you hitting on me because your daddy hit your mama? Why am I paying that price? And ladies, it ain't okay. It ain't okay. Because sometimes we give permission to that. Then you call the police. Then here they come. Oh, I want to file no charges. No. No. That, you know what that one white chick said on TikTok? Under the jail, take him. Yep. You want to write? I sure will. Let me borrow your pen. Statement done. Right? Because I'm not responsible for your trauma. It ain't my fault. I don't know your daddy. I don't know why he left. That ain't none of my business. But you can't be mad. And then listen, ladies, y'all stop not liking somebody because they look like your ex. Uh-oh. That was my parting shot. Right? Because watch this. Here it is. Here it is. Have you ever been with somebody and they did something that made you mad, but they look like the other Negro that you was messing with? Why you frying your pork chop like that? He used to use a fork. Why you use no spatula? So listen, what we're going to do is this. I want y'all to hear me. On the 27th, the last Wednesday, right, I want to challenge y'all. The last Wednesday, my wife is going to do our mental health presentation because that's what she does with NAMI. The box. He talked about the box today. See, my wife remember the stuff I be forgetting. Watch this. Let me tell you how well my wife know me. I called my wife. I said, dang. I said, babe, do me a favor. She said, what? Can you grab my glasses. I forgot my glasses. Yeah, I know. They was on the on the recliner, and I got your strap. They're over there sitting on the table by my keys. Help me! That's what I'm talking about. Come through, Lady D. But that's what she does. She does what she does with Nami and all that. And so I want us to have a none outside of the Bible. Because you need the Bible. You need Jesus, yes. Right? And so you need him, the therapist, to help you with your mental health. You need Jesus to help you with your peace. Right? So she's going to do the presentation on our last Wednesday, because next week is Raw. But here's what I'm asking. What'd I say? Oh, I'm Eddie Murphy. Okay. I mean, he did have on purple though, didn't he though? Okay, I got a confession to make. I skipped school one day to go watch that movie. But I did it with Deborah and Tanya and Dwayne them. But anyway, we all skipped school. Y'all don't know it. But anyway, so, Lord have mercy. Where did I get wrong from? I told you your pastor ain't perfect. But now I'm going to go home and look at it, though. But next week is Raw. But here it is. Wow. Y'all becoming triggers for me right now. I got trauma right now. Next week is Wow. Wow. And then the following week, we're going to look at everything from a NAMI point of view. And I'm not so sure we're going to stop in May. Because it gets deeper. And I want to continue to get deeper. But that'll be a good interruption point so First Lady can look, so she can see, everybody can see it from a non-church view. Because the reason why it's important to me, y'all, because I didn't know how mentally messed up I was until I went to counseling. I was jacked up. And I tell everybody, I didn't know myself until I went to counseling. I never knew who Eric was. I knew who everybody wanted Eric to be. But I never knew who I was. And so I think I've been praying about going deeper, and I think we're just going to go deeper and deal with it. Can y'all handle that? Okay, so next week is Wow. Wow. Pastor Chris will let y'all know who's singing. I mean, because, you know, when you're a mega church, you got all these praise teams and stuff, and, you know, we mega, so, you know. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll just pick one, Chris. Just pick a team. It don't make any difference. Just June 17th, our deacons are getting ordained. June 17th. That's going to be a big deal. I'm excited about that. And so, but on the 27th, if you know somebody that's not even in church, your co-worker, white, black, Mexican, Chinese, whatever, and you think they will be able to be helped from a mental health presentation, I want you to invite them on the 27th. It'll be really, really good for them. Okay? All right, Elder B. Wait, I'm sorry. Demisha, you had your hand up a while ago, didn't you? Is it too late? Because I like it when you talk. Share it. Wait, where your mic? Who got a mic? No, because we just can't hear you. Because I got this central air working. Andy went and got the mic and then kept it.
I was just sharing something that a therapist that I see shared with me. She told me to imagine that I had a table in a pool. The pool is the combination of the things that we encounter in life, whether it's people, places, things, our feelings, things that we go and get and bring in. All these things are swimming around. You've got your cup on the table, you've got your table in the pool. Now it's up to you to decide what you're going to pick up from the pool and put on the table or in the cup. So she told me to imagine.
I like that.
If you reach into that cup and the first thing you feel like pull out, similar to waking up in the morning, is sadness. You reach in again. Next thing you pick up, you're frustrated. Next thing you pick up, it's some other negative emotion or negative thing that's happening or has happened. She said, at what point are you going to stop picking up the negative things that are in the pool? You have to make a conscious decision to rid your pool of the negative things. And then, just like we check a physical pool, the pH, we then have to go and reassess the environment. So we can't, definitely, we encourage everyone to be cognizant and aware of their mental stability, their mental health, their mental conditions, but it needs to be an ongoing process. We need to constantly reassess, constantly not only align ourselves with God's will, but also take a moment to breathe, think, and feel. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Do I feel quite right? And if you don't, that's a point where we reach out to our pastor, to our deacons, to mama, to our husbands, wives, friends, whoever is your confidant. And, try to work it out.
She doesn't talk a lot, but when she does. Ella, please, you lead us out in prayer, please.
And we all stand. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to be in this place on tonight, God. God, thank you for the wisdom that you share with us, Lord God. Lord God, thank you for putting it on Pastor's heart to come before us with what is necessary and what is needed in this season. God, we thank you and we praise you just for being who you are in our lives, Lord God. Please be with us while we travel on tonight, heading back to our homes, Lord God. Cover us